2023, creating in 2023.
Yep.
Let's go.
All
Okay.
Right, let's see, where do we start? I can't even remember where we last left off of it.
Well, we know that we were excited. We had a lot of 2022 was a kind of a good close though, right?
Yeah, I could have sworn it was also
a milestone was hit at 2022. That's what it was.
Oh wait, what's the recall? Yeah. Now, yeah, that's what happened in 2022.
But
I wait about to say something, Gary.
No, I was going to just say, but enter 2023, and here we are. What it was like for us writing in 2023 and creating in that time. A lot of interesting happens. I think it's also when the
Wait, 2023. Hold on a second. I'm just trying to remember. It's really foggy in 2023. So maybe you should start kicking.
I got some ways to start.
Yeah, you should kick off. I'm kind
for
of fuzzy.
one.
I'm kind of fuzzy on that.
This came a point where a lot more lore needed to be developed before we continued forward.
I thought we talked about that in 2022.
I think so. We did go into that, and then enter 2023. I think then we planned a little bit more. At the very least,
yeah, I think we did.
We came quite prepared for this one. 2023, we were very prepared to go into it. Now, however, 2023 was kind of a dark year in its own right, kind of a rough one.
Yeah.
Because I personally was so fixated on how well we had accomplished what had come before that I was going nuts about that's what it was. That's what happened with you. That I was going through that a lot that entire year, just wondering, are we capable of still writing so well after we have written so many episodes, and now we need a break, and now we need to build up the world even more because we have not reached the end yet, and I'm just like, there was a part of me that was just always incredibly intense about our capabilities at the time. Remember, I was a lot less confident back then, and yet I was still going through with this.
Yeah.
Whether or not we were able to pull off continuing this series, even though we have been doing so well. But, when you struggle and you suffer and you go through a lot of pains, even when you do well, you don't really appreciate how well you've done. You know what I mean? Like, you can't think... I didn't feel like I was still capable of being a great writer or creator, even though I had the evidence. It's just the insecurities just were knocking at that door, and I kept answering it. I kept answering kept opening that goddamn thing. But that had a hold over me. That was one strangle over me. That was a big one. And guess what? Remember we told you we developed... For those of you who had watched the making of videos in 2022... we came up with the segments idea and the planning and even sort of the bullet points. But in 2023, when we started up again, I threw it out the window.
Well, you threw out the window, but I managed to keep it when we went to this episode. The episode that really kicked off 2023.
Yeah, the episode that kicked off 2023. Not a good idea that I threw it out. I'll be honest. I thought it was the right thing to do at the time. I thought... This episode's calling for a different structure. Artistically speaking, we need to go at it at a different angle and shit like that. A bunch of bullshit. Honestly, I was just stressed. I was just worried. I was just feeling like I need to latch onto something that wasn't coming from before because now is different. You just tell yourself. I told myself a bunch of things that weren't true. And we still came out with a wonderful episode, actually. In fact, it exceeded my expectations and exceeded my fears. However... the stress to get it was not worth it. It was awful. And we didn't have a system anymore. The segments that we had weren't even segments. It's like we planned it all out, the order. Then we detailed the segments, about half of them. And the other half I had no interest in detailing. And I'm saying, we're just going to go at it and start writing the screenplay right now. That's how that episode was written.
Yeah, and then pretty much the latter half of the script...
was a lot of improv, right?
Yeah, it was. Unfortunately, it was a lot of improv. I say unfortunately because, it was really hard on us.
Especially Brandon.
Yeah, especially because and I still do, and of course you saw in the previous videos, but I'll say it in this one, I really loved our structure of our segments, which, most people may know as outlining. I'm just going to leave it at that. I really love the segments that we came up with. I love the structure because our universe is so big, which I've said before, and I'm saying it again, it was hard for me to keep it in my head.
Yeah.
And particularly for how I see things, it's very hard for that. So then after that, it was very rough. And then we kept writing, and then eventually at some point, that was a lot of the struggles. This year, a lot of the struggles was how, not necessarily, well, there were a couple, honestly, this year, in 2023, there were a couple ideas that, that I had in mind that Garrett did not like, and that's put it lightly. Garrett really hated it. But
this is right. This is what we touched on as well. But we touch on it in full in this one. Brandon's right.
Yeah. There was there were a couple things. I think there were a couple things. Well, I can name definitely one thing. There was definitely one thing I had in mind that I wanted in our universe, and it was the scenario of, if I describe it, Garrett and I see it a lot. This a lot of the times in other fiction stories, and we both really like it. But it's the scenario where we both like it, but Garrett, he told me he would never write it. No. And me, well, I actually would like to write it.
Well, I never would have written it Brandon's way.
But my way is very similar to the way we've commonly seen it, isn't it?
Not when you think about compared to shonen manga.
But comparing to like everything else.
Sure.
I mean, that's not just.
But I would have written it, but you know my way of how I would have written it.
Yeah, that's true.
But there was no way that was ever going to happen in this show whatsoever. For one, I don't know if we told us. I can't remember if we had mentioned already. The show's base ideas, cast, and universe were all Brandon's idea.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we probably said that, but it's a good refresher. Yeah.
Yeah, and because of that, I wasn't gonna completely uproot it. And at this point, at this junction,
yes,
in 2023, it hit the point where it was time to introduce this new factor into the universe that we were writing.
Yeah.
And one of it was a fundamental that we've seen in many other works that can be handled one of certain ways. And the way Brandon wanted to do it, it was a way I absolutely abhorred. Because the way I've seen it done, played other ways. This is when I was still in the mindset.
Really stressed out.
The mindset of, if I haven't seen it done well, I'm not going to try and make it look good. Fuck that one. But fuck it. Fuck it.
No, yeah, Garrett was, and Garrett's always been like this, and it has helped out Garrett sometimes, and it's also hurt Garrett sometimes. He's always been very anti what people have done, because Garrett is I'm
a go against the flow guy.
Well, no, I'd say that's one part, Garrett, but also Garrett, I'd say you're a big advocate of a very simple, very sweet thing. You like to see things that are different. You don't want cookie cutter. You don't want variations.
I don't want stagnation.
Yeah, Garrett wants to see and feel things different in the world of entertainment. I know, shocking, right? Because people like to see the same shit.
I mean,
no, it is. No, Garrett. It's not Garrett. You would rip on all the Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, but in truth, we don't need that many Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. In truth, all we need is T2 or Predator, and that's it. We don't need Commando. We don't need Red Heat. We don't need Raw Deal. Garrett and I've seen all those. By the way. But that's the thing. So this idea I had is something a lot of people have done, and we both like it.
And the way Brandon wanted to do it is still very similar to how it's been done.
Yeah, and the way I wanted it done, Garrett, to say it again, Garrett abhorred it because it's the same idea. Garrett's like, I've seen this before. I hate this. But for me, I know I brought this up before, but I'll bring it up right now. There are ideas that we like, and then when one of us says, I don't really like that idea, some ideas, Garrett and I are like, okay, so let's alter it. So let's make an idea we both can like. This is one of those ones where it's like, Garrett, it has to be, in some ways, definitely like this. It can't go through a big alteration. It has to be really this base idea. And this base idea, Garrett really hated.
Yeah, let's go with some examples here. So kind of
it's not fair example.
Let's say
banana peel joke.
No, let's go with action films.
Oh, right? Action films.
Let's go with action films. Typically have
let's see
a dude shooting up a bunch of people. Let's go. Shoots up a bunch of people to get from one end to the other.
Yeah, to get to his goal.
Right. So I'm aware we're writing action. Right. So my approach would be, if I'm doing an action show where the guy has to shoot up a bunch of people to get from one place to the other, I would say, okay, well, I want to change this up. We're gonna make it that he shoots up. He shoots a bunch of baddies. He gets stopped right here, and then someone else takes over his spot because he gets killed, and then we got to continue it, and then there's another character. Instead of shooting up a bunch of characters, we're going to have him negotiate with these characters, but then they get assassinated when the negotiations happen, so the killing still remains intact. It's action negotiation at that point, and then we're going to do espionage style, and then at the very end, we're going to make it suicide, and everyone dies in the end. To complete this action cycle. So that's how we're going to do this action from beginning to end. Not shoot everybody to the end.
That's what I wanted.
Brandon wanted to shoot everybody to the end. He wanted to keep it shooting. There's no going to be alterations. We're not going to be clever about this.
We're just going to do... the way I'd said it for myself is that... And this is the way I said it.
Before you get the way you said it.
Sure.
Before we get to how Brandon says it. I fought him for this one. In fact, I was so pissed off at how it was handled. I was telling him, I can't get on board with this idea, Brandon.
Yeah.
I cannot write this flow. It has been done so many times, and I don't like the way it has been done, just like that. And you're telling me you want to write it just like that.
Yeah.
And then,
really...
after I went through that, then I asked in a good, receptive, calm way, because I love my brother. And more than that, I could tell it meant something to him. So I went to him and approached him as we were writing, before we even started actually that first episode.
Yeah, before writing the first episode.
I went to him and I asked him, what does this mean to you? Because clearly I can tell, I can hear it in your voice, Brandon, having it done this way, this style, the exact way, it means something to you. Does it mean something to you like on the level where it's an incredible craft, but we can do something about it and change it? Or is it one of those times, Brandon, like what happened before when we were writing one of the previous episodes, where you just know it has to be this way and only that way, and we just got to make it work because it means something to my heart? And I genuinely asked him that, and this is where you left.
Well, yes, it was like, let's use that act.
That is what I asked you, I believe.
I'm pretty certain when you were acting that out, I'm pretty certain that it is.
So to that extent, I'm paraphrasing, but that was definitely the feel when I finally had to ask, because I knew I wasn't getting out of it.
And my thing, let's use our.
But I wanted to communicate.
Let's use that action analogy here. Just use.
Yes.
I think I said something like this. We can change up a couple of things to accommodate the more cleverness, but in truth, if you take a step back and look at it, you have to think to yourself, wow, that's a really cool long action scene. And why? Because making that big long action scene of the guy shooting, it does mean a lot to me, because for me, when I saw them do the shooting, of course I saw they did it a poor way, but I saw if I did it, or if Garen and I did it, we'd do it a beautiful way. So that's why it was very important to me. So yes, the idea did get tweaked a little bit for more cleverness craft-wise, which I'm all for. But when you take that step back, it is still definitely the base of that idea, which I deeply loved. And then Garrett, actually, it's so funny because it was like in the last video, Creating 2022, this issue, we talked about this right now, Garrett has no issue with it at all.
Not anymore.
Zero. Garrett flat out forgot until I brought it up in the 2022 video.
I forgot that I actually had a huge problem with that plot. But yeah, that idea. But Brandon's right. We tweaked.
Oh no, we definitely tweaked some of it.
But like, instead of like the guy shoots a bunch of characters all the way through, shoots all the baddies from the start to the finish of the show.
We tweaked it too.
He shoots them from the start to the finish of the show, but he changes guns in between.
Yeah.
Or the guns malfunction. In a very unique way. But he still uses guns. He still shoots them. And that was the perfect way to phrase it, bro. That we can do it in a beautiful way. And I
just knew it. I knew we could
because I do like the ends. I like it watching it. I hate creating it.
Yeah, that's definitely what it is with you, Garrett. And that's how I knew. And actually, that part where I just told you, where Garrett, he likes to experience different things, to see different things. And actually, personally, I agree with Garrett.
I have a reason for that. I want you to finish your thing first.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I personally agree with that. But the thing for myself that I always knew, that Garrett went... Now, of course, Garrett wasn't known for listening to this when I told him at the time, but I did always know this, and also Garrett always knew this. People's storytelling methods. That Garrett didn't like how they did it, so he just X'd them out and is like, fuck off, all right?
I'll make my own up.
Yeah, I always thought it was funny. But a part of me always knew that... I always thought that you should probably loosen up on it. Because I was like... He's right. Because I was always like, just because they fucked it up, just because they did it blandly, just because they did it only good, doesn't make it shit. We can make it great. We can make it original. We can make it beautiful because we love it. When they made it, I don't think they did. A lot of people just do it just because it's safe. So that's what I mean. And Garrett, he was listening to me. And I was like, whatever.
Yeah, I was like, I don't care they did it safe.
Garrett didn't like it. He didn't like it.
I don't give a shit.
And so that's what I mean
I'm not adding more onto a pile of poorly crafted material just because ours look good. Everyone else is going to see, oh, but it's just more of the same crap. You just made it look better. And I'm just like, I'm not going to be a part of that. That's a bad way to think, by the way.
No, yeah, that was bad.
I was totally wrong in that mindset.
Because actually, this thing that I ideally loved, you must say this is the first step to you eventually to now the present, just jumping to the present right now. Gary doesn't see it that way at all.
In fact, I'm incorporating tons of crafting techniques I have seen done poorly that I would normally stay away, avoid, like
a plague.
Like a terrible political party. And
so, yes.
But now I'm doing it because I do like it. I like the storytelling method, but when I see it done poorly, even if I've seen it done well and poorly, I tend to look at I used to tend more to look at the negative, and I think to myself, it's poisoned. It's tarnished. I can't do it. I can't touch. I can't. I'll stay the fuck away from me.
Yeah. Oh,
but
screen got a little dark. No, yeah.
But Brandon is not insecure about that. Brandon's not self-conscious about the idea of, I have to make it different. I have to make it unique. Brandon says, I love it. It's fun for me. I'm going to make it my way.
Although I want to just put a little defense right there for you, Garrett. Because of your issues, it came out so harsh, so nasty when you said that stuff.
Yeah.
In reality, Garrett, to wind back to this issue, at this point, Garrett's very logical. You don't like why they did it. You don't like why they go with. I'll give one example. People sometimes overly use flashbacks. Now I agree with Garrett. Flashbacks can be really ugly how they use it, but that doesn't mean the idea of flashback is a cursed storytelling method. That's an example.
By no means. But
that's what I'm saying. But you are right, Garrett. It is lazy. It is stupid. It is uncreative, and sometimes they do it just for attention and greed. Why they rely on these same fucking storytelling methods? That's really what you're repulsed by.
Yeah, but I'm more repulsed by the act, the intention behind the act, more than the craft itself.
Yes, and you see, for me, I'm not repulsed by the. See, with Garrett, when he saw the mix. He didn't separate them. When he sees when he sees a flashback done with bad intention, Garrett's like that. For me,
I'm just like, flashbacks must mean. You must always have a bad intention to make flashback. It's just like, it's gross. I'm not going to make my effort to separate the two and then take the flashback and make my good flashback. Fuck it. Fuck that.
See, Garrett, he always saw that crisscross, right? Me, I always saw like this. Flashback, stupid intention. So for me, it was never mixed.
Brandon could separate and be okay.
Well, no, I'm not saying I could separate, Garrett. I'm saying I always just saw like that. You always saw like this. Mm-hmm. So you see, I can say to you people, if I saw with Garrett's mind, I probably would be the same. I probably would be so repulsed I want to come up with my own ideas. And I bet if Garrett saw it separately, he would be kind of like me. Where it's like, no, they're not bad. It's just people sucked when they made it. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying that, yes, because of our own issues and because of Garrett's issues, it came out so negatively. But in truth, what Garrett wants is not a harsh thing. It's a beautiful thing. No stagnation. No safe writing.
That's what I was going to get on. I am most inspired by people who write from themselves for themselves because...
I am too, actually.
The truth is, because everybody is a unique individual, that means, therefore, the most unique works will be the most truest expression of the individual. And I love seeing that. I love seeing a true piece of someone's love. I like seeing a true desire to see this. But it can only be true and 100% true if the person is being true to themselves, because that's the most unique part. So, that's why, even to this day, I'm a big advocate of write precisely what it is your vision is, uncompromised, and I will appreciate the fuck out of that, and I will love it.
For the record, I am too, but Garrett's a bigger advocate of that.
I'm a huge advocate of that,
and I agree. He should be. It's great.
But Brand's right, because of personal issues, it got yet again, as we have brought up in previous, personal issues intertwine with your work, and therefore my expression of saying I want original came out more harsh, more foul, meaner than it needed to be, because I had already issues that were not even involved writing. But writing in the art brings out the truth of the stuff you're suffering from.
Yes.
That is away from it, but it's still in you. It's all connected. And as a result, it was a bad startup. However...
All right, I want to say... No, you continue with yours.
Okay, can you keep locking your head?
Give me a second. I remember locking my head. We were talking about how you spoke about stuff. Give me a second. Okay, shit, hold on a second. I want to try and get it back.
Oh, he doesn't have it yet.
Okay, I got it.
However, because I love my brother, and I love myself, and I want to just be happier overall with the progression of our lives, after I committed 100%
to that idea,
to the idea of bang, 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 bang.
Yep, action scene shooting, one.
It in its own way subconsciously paved the way for me to be confident to do it again and again and again and the right way and again, time and again and again and again, as we would incorporate ideas that I would be normally repulsed by, and I still am repulsed by them when I put them in there, or at least I remember the repulsion. I love it when we do it. I'm like, okay, so when we do it, it is different. That's what I missed. Since we're different and we are true to ourselves, selecting a common method will still make it original because it's coming from our vision.
Yes.
I didn't trust that. I didn't listen to that. Had it not been for Brandon wanting to go with this method,
the shooting,
I never would have ventured to it. And I will pat myself on the back for this because I do carry out and follow through with my word, and I love my brother. And that matters more to me than even writing the perfect screenplay is. Writing the perfect screenplay with Brandon.
Same.
So that's great. That's what I want to say is that it started there. It didn't take off right away.
No.
I just told myself, okay, this is the only one I'm doing. That's how it was that in 2023.
Yeah. No, it took time. It took a little bit of time, but yeah.
But it did take off as more creative methods were being incorporated and better introspection with just my life.
Yeah.
Anyway, now, what did you locking head you want to bring up now?
Oh, yeah. See, of course, Gary, he was so tense before about not wanting to do this, that, and the other thing, or he had a problem with this, that, and the other thing, right? But I will say this. Is it all Garrett's doing? No. He's most of it, but no. I could have spoken up more better. See, the big thing was I had a really hard time speaking up about... See, the fact that Garrett had to approach me and ask me, what does this really mean to you? You ask, why didn't I just tell Garrett from the start? Because that was my issue. I didn't speak to my true feelings to Garrett because I made up this reason, that reason why I shouldn't totally speak up to Garrett in some scenarios.
Right, that's true. I did bring up, even while I was tense in the calm state, had Brandon been more clear what it meant to him rather than just an idea that he was fully aware what I would have problems with, I would have been able to talk it out more calmly if Brandon was more upfront with how much these things mean to him.
Actually, not talk it over. I think you said you will just probably like...
I would have hopped right on board. I would have hopped right on board.
You told me, Garrett, you actually said to me, if I told Garrett this way, which is that Garrett, and this is actually just honestly the best method to anything, and I mean anything, I mean the really word anything. Garrett's like, I don't want a fancy sentence, I don't want a bland sentence. I want your feelings in your words. I want you to put your heart on the line in your words, no matter if it's short or long. Then I got it. And Garrett's right. Once you do that shit, Garrett, he knows how to respond instantly. And that is the best and cleanest method to anything. Being totally honest with whatever set of words you use. So, if I was totally honest, instead of coming up with my own issues why I shouldn't be as talkative, more speaking up more with Garrett, if I told him that, Garrett said to me, I would probably be pissed off for like a few seconds, but I'd accept it. And I was like, I should have done that. I should have done that. I should have done that. So that's why Garrett, he had his own issues, and I had mine. And so, thankfully, we managed to work through them, got to incorporate my idea while still tweaking it to Garrett's liking, but without totally altering it, and it's in our show. And that was a big fucking thing in 2023. Let me tell you that right now.
And now just one issue we got over in 2023. Oh, wow. And to the rest of the episodes that we write now, we wrote like maniacs in 2023. Okay.
Yeah, actually we did because the episodes were very tough, and
they were excruciatingly difficult. And one of the episodes that we wrote that year was an idea and a crazy ass crap that I had come up with that tormented Brandon.
And actually, you think that's maybe too much of a word? No, actually, unfortunately, it's not. That idea, it's a beautiful idea. It's a magnificent idea. It's an incredibly original idea, and I love all that stuff. But after all the stress we were going through from the start of 2023, and then go to immediately to the next this particular episode,
and at this point, we're still not settled on a pre-script craft yet.
Yeah, by this time, so you see the segments, how we liked a lot with the past episodes.
Dicey.
This one was very dicey. In fact, I could arguably say this one's like the most like weird of them all in some ways. Or second weirdest, right next to the first one of 20. Anyways, yeah, it was actually a personal torment for me. Wow, it was so awful. That was the one where and it was really bad because it was really bad because
how can you phrase it?
The way I want to phrase it is that how I want to say it for me, how I felt in 2023. I felt trapped. I felt that I couldn't get out of it because I love the craft. I love it and it suited our show perfectly. But it solved a lot of problems, cool enough. It linked up a bunch of things. I can't say it because it's spoilery. But I felt trapped because it was too perfect for our show. It was better than perfect for our show. But it was so tasking and so tense and
so not how Brandon writes.
And definitely not how I want to write. It was just like it literally was that. It's like that. This episode's perfect, but it's going to be torture getting through it. And I couldn't change it. I remember I said a couple of times, I think, or one time a year. I was like, I said several times. I think I may have said during this really, really bad episode, or really tormentorous episode, that I hated it. I hated writing this. But Garrett, it was comboed with Garrett's truth and Garrett's cloudiness of anger. In that
my clouded insanity.
Yeah. Okay. There. I'll use that word. Clouded insanity. Garrett said, I don't care. I want it done this way. Now, you say that clearly. That's a good thing to say.
I did not say it clearly.
But Garrett was right. He didn't want it any other way, and this episode's better than perfect than what we could have ever imagined, and I'm glad for it that Garrett came up with it. Because I'll tell you right now, this is the good ending. I forget when, but when I was pretty much done writing this episode, which I recalled, I have no ill will towards it at all. I can remember, I can bring up all the bad memories I had, all the bad feelings, but I can just drop it even quicker because it doesn't matter to me. I still love it right now to this date. As I am speaking in 2025, I still love this episode. But you want to rewind, but you want to use some sort of time machine thing to see me how I was in 23. Oh yeah, it was like the worst thing I ever had. I told you, it's like one of my worst writing experiences I've ever had in my life.
Yeah,
actually,
told me that.
yeah, it was actually one of my worst, or it might have been the worst writing experience I've ever had of writing like a singular script. The idea, it was horrible for me personally.
And may or may not have been one of my attempts to get revenge at Brandon subconsciously in a cowardly way because I had to still sign on for the bang, 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 bang. I don't think so. No,
Okay.
now I think about it, it wasn't that. It wasn't that
No,
at all.
if I had to really guess.
No.
If I
that part of me was gone.
No. But if I had to really guess with you, Garrett, almost because you want to describe how you felt,
No, all I can say is we went through with a bad idea, and here's why it's bad, folks. The main purpose of how we want to create, how we've always wanted to create and failed a lot of the time.
Yeah, we did.
It's without stress, without suffering. Well, stress
actually, the suffering one, just suffering.
Without suffering. To actually have a good experience, struggle with it, but struggle together and not struggle against each other, but struggle with the work, not with each other.
Yes. Because,
did not accomplish that at all in 2023.
Oh, boy.
And the rest of the episodes we had written in 2023. Oh, my fucking God. I went crazy. I want to make things and elevate things to such a level that is the kind of original writing that when you see someone do it, you caught it, like, oh, yeah, that is original. But it didn't add a whole lot. I was going that far.
No, yeah.
My insecurity was going crazy in that year when we were writing.
Oh,
and Brandon had to shut that down at the midpoint of the year, or like the latter half of the year.
Yeah.
And, I hated that.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah.
And
it was,
but I did listen to an extent.
Yeah.
and then I got my worst writing experience of my life.
Yeah, unfortunately. And we'll tell you what happened.
What had occurred was I wanted to push the envelope for creativity. I was just in this mode where I just didn't want to look back and disappoint myself on my ability to create. Then Brandon's like, okay, we just finished a few episodes. We're not doing it for this next one again. You want to keep outdoing the previous episodes?
Yeah, actually, I actually literally did say that. And
in terms of craft and creativity, these episodes are big, right? The episodes are 90 to 2 hours.
Yeah, they're like essentially they're movie length.
The movie length episodes.
Yeah, so
just a reminder, folks. These are not small episodes.
No, and by movie length, I'm gonna say I'm not gonna mock that thing. I'm not that kind of crappy thing where you get some kind of HBO episode that's like 60 or 70 minutes. That's cheap movie length. No, Garrett's right, 90 to 2 hours. These episodes, and remember this. And also other videos I've said, our show has a big universe, lots of lore, and lots of characters. And now take into account, people, these episodes are 90 to 2 hours long. So keep all that in mind. And then I hear from Garrett, he wants to make, at this point in 2023, each episode more crafty than the next. And for those who may be kind of confused, when we say more crafty, in that the externals, not necessarily the characters or the story itself, but the externals of how you execute everything. That's what I want to get more extremely clever about.
Yeah, exactly. Like if the first theme was about colors, I want to tackle all the colors of the rainbow. Then the next one,
and the next episode would be
the next one. I want to take out I want to venture into the spectrum of shapes, which have colors. Well, we'll have the color theme running in there, but it's about shapes. And then the next one, let's go into the idea of how nature operates in terms of the growth of nature and whatnot. I want them all to be so different and yet elevating each other based on the previous and being completely different and completely outdoing the one that came before. But that's all externals. It's not that important. But I wanted to do that. I was going crazy.
Yep. And when Garrett hit that point, that's when...
Also personal reasons as well.
Yes, also personal reasons.
We're driving that. But go on. So that's what Brandon means by the craft. And this is... I'm so grateful to Brandon. I wasn't at the time.
No.
That he shut it down.
Yep. And then, so which we're caught. And then this is the partial part. Not the part. This is the big part. Well, actually, though, that was the initial part why Gary had a really bad time. And let me tell you why.
Well, I can speak for myself, but
I'm sorry. I didn't know what part. There's probably a bunch of parts why it was really bad, and I don't know what we're going to talk about. I was just going to talk about one of the reasons why it was really bad is that...
Yeah, you go ahead. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, yeah, because there was a lot of reasons why it was bad for you. I'm trying to think which one I'm going to bring up. I think I'm going to bring up the base one. One of the base.
Well, I can bring up why it was bad for me. What did you want to talk about?
Oh, no,
I'd like you to hear.
Oh, no,
I'd like your experience.
Oh no, actually, because I might rather just finish up your thing why it was bad because I can just talk about that afterwards. So yeah,
it was painful for me because I felt like my creative input was denied. That for the first time in all of my writing.
Yeah, all of our writing actually. Up to that point.
Something that I was genuinely gung-ho about, I was going to have to take a pass on. And then, as a result, we brought back the segments.
Yes.
The very good planning where we start out with planning the idea, and then we bullet point them, and then we detail them and organize them in the proper order.
And then go to the script.
Yeah. One of the things that we had done, to show my commitment that I was going to give up on this idea of one-upping the previous episode by the next episode, well, with each succeeding episode. I told myself that I was just going to write this however Brandon wants it done. Because my dream is crushed. Might as well hop on board with Brandon. Not a good idea. Now, I didn't give up. The episodes turned out that we would write during the rest of that year would turn out wonderfully. But my experience was tarnished because I hated writing. I'm very stubborn in that sense. If I don't get my way, a specific thing that I don't get, I mean, I can go and change and go without a lot of things, but there's something that
certain things
that I do want and I don't get it, I'm going to hold a grudge.
Yeah.
And I did. And we had finished the episodes writing that style, not trying to one-up the previous one, discussed it. It turned out terrifically. But when we finished it, I had told Brandon that was the worst experience I ever had in my life.
Yeah.
I just said it right out there. I held it all in. Brandon thought I was fine the entire time. I didn't tell him, and then I laid it right on him at the very end. Yeah. I did tell him, well, Brandon, you were the reason why that happened to me.
Yeah, but also...
Not a good moment for me.
But it's also to see the things, because also we rewrote My Way, where, where actually I learned even from my experience, whereas that, our segments, right?
See, 2023 is pretty grim, isn't it, folks?
Yeah, it was. It was pretty grim when you hear about that.
I'm feeling kind of... not feeling grim.
Well,
I'm remembering it.
Yeah, we're bringing up it, so of course we can actually...
Yeah.
We can actually depict the feelings.
Go on.
Oh, no, so what I was saying was, when we wrote My Way, the way that, Garrett just recapped that, he really hated it, Mm-hmm. One of the things that didn't help was that we detailed so much of the segments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I always see, at this time during the whole segment thing, during the whole bumpiness, how to treat our segments in 2023, Garrett was of this mindset where he wanted as he called it, like the majority of the craft, the effort, the work to be in the script, and the inspiration to be in the script, not the segments. I was reverse. I was like, I don't give a fuck. Creativity is creativity. Whether you write it on a napkin, I didn't say napkin, but I was like this. Whether we put in the segments or put in the scripts, doesn't mean a fucking shit to me. So for those first several episodes, Garrett's like, no dice. We're doing it this unorganized way. And I
for the segments. And then comes the one where we cancel out my insanity for trying to up it, and we're doing the segments Brandon's way, and incredibly detailed segments,
like monstrally detailed. I'm just saying to the point where
you can copy and paste.
Yeah, it was that you could literally. Not literally, but pretty much almost literally copy and paste. We would have the lines the characters would say, not the exact dialogue, but we know that this character would say this line character would say following that, and following that.
Without the lines. It would just be in a segment breakdown format, and then we just type it. I just look at there, just pretty much type it on the screenplay.
Yes.
And actually, at the time, you were typing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. At the time, I was typing.
I'm the typist right now, but Brandon was typing in 2023.
Yes, in 2023. Then we'll get to how we switch, but that
comes later.
But that actually comes. We'll say that comes in 2024. But we'll talk about that in the next video, next year.
So we did this,
and see, that's my method. I loved it. See, I couldn't tell.
Brandon likes organization before doing in the crazy work.
Yeah. So after doing that, then of course leads up to when Garrett said he told me he had the worst experience ever. And of course, I was just so confused.
And after we finished the screenplay and everything, the whole episode's done.
Yeah, and I was just so confused. I was just kind of like, I think I might have asked you, why did you do it my way if you hated it? I was really confused.
I told myself because I was so furious at you for ruining my idea that the only way I was going to get through this was just by not thinking about it at all and withholding all that, or else we would have no episode.
Yeah, no episodes. Yeah.
I said nothing would have gotten done if I gave in to my rage at that moment, so I'm going to just tuck it all back and just say, okay, I'm going with Brandon's stupid idea.
Yeah.
That takes away creativity. That takes away from the spontaneity of the screenplay.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah. That's a good.
where I said, I hate this. We're copying and pasting. I didn't say that while we were writing it. I said it after the fact. After the fact, I tell them I hate it. We copied and pasted. There was no inspiration there whatsoever. My journey with my screenplay is ruined. It's fucking ruined. Oh, we got the episode we wanted. We got the episode we talked about. I didn't compromise on what the actual episode turned out to be. When we got rid of my ideas on how it should be, then we could work with what it could be and what it turned out to be. I did get just that, Brandon. I got exactly that, but I didn't make it the way I wanted to make it, and that was the worst writing experience of my life.
So as you can tell, it was rather rough on Garrett and I in 2023. We both had our worst writing experiences ever. Oof, terrible, absolutely terrible. And then at some point,
and then it was after that.
After that, towards the end of the year, Garrett stopped writing. We knew there was something wrong. We were like midway, not even midway. We were just writing a bit of an episode already. We just stopped.
And Brandon was still typing.
I was still typing, but we just stopped. At some point, we were like, we gotta do something about this.
We had to talk about this problem we were having.
And I mean, nothing. I mean, this is very serious for Garrett and I. We were one or the other, both of us one or the other. One time or the other, we were both thinking at some point,
fuck this show.
Yeah, just stop writing. Just period. Not even the show. Just stop writing.
Too much misery. Fuck it.
Yeah, because it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. And pretty much the tail end of the year, like the last quarter, maybe the last 2 months, it was just us trying to relax and just trying to reevaluate our commitment to ourselves, to each other, to the show. That was a lot of this, a lot of introspection, and a lot of reformatting. And I swear, during the end of this year, I suggested to Garrett that he should type.
I think he did.
And the reason why, I told Garrett this. Now, you may not know some other people with other videos, but I'll tell you right now.
I don't even know if we touched on it.
Yeah. We may not. We'll touch on it now. I'll go with this part of the writing. When I was a typist, right? Gary, he always walked around. Literally,
That's how we type. Brandon sits down and type. I talk and I think of ideas, and Brandon thinks of ideas, and we shoot them back and forth, and Brandon types.
Yes. And I told Garrett this as time went on, particularly when we started writing our show, towards these later episodes this year, and maybe a few episodes.
Wait, this year or 2023?
I'm talking 2023. I'm sorry, not this year, 2025. I meant in 2023. I may have told Garrett this a little bit, and a little bit maybe during 2022.
Definitely 2024 though. But
definitely 2024.
But anyway, you
were typing in 2024.
Yeah.
It was this. I said, Garrett, I like how you talk as the characters and talk as the descriptions, but you say things so rapidly in a certain way, it's very, very frustrating for me to type and delete, Example, let's say a character says, I want to go here. At first we thought it was a good line. I would almost type that. Then Garrett would the character say, I really want to go here. So I'm like, okay, I type that. Then Garrett would quickly say, the character says, no, I really want to go here, please. And I'm like, okay. And so it was very frustrating for me to type, delete. For me personally, it's extremely frustrating.
Edits are very annoying for Brandon.
It's very, 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 it was very annoying. So sometime during 2023, late in the year when we're not writing, I said to Garrett, why don't you type? Because it'll keep you busy and more active. With me, when I talk to Garrett, and when we talk about our scenes, I can remember it. So if Garrett forgets something, I can remind him of something we forgot.
And when I type, Brandon sits down. He doesn't have to walk around to get his brain flowing.
And also, I don't talk back and forth. Because you know why? When Garrett types, those lines Garrett said out loud, while Garrett types in 2024 into the present, Garrett actually runs them through his head, deletes and types so quickly, I can't even tell.
Yeah, and when Brandon gives back and forth dialogue sometimes, I'm a better typer, and I keep pace with it.
Yes, Garrett is really, really good at that. I mean, he's excellent at that.
Now,
and then it was good to me, lead to me, and then now if we want to talk about it, I was like, Garrett, why did you stop typing? Because actually,
that's what I was going to get into.
Because actually, I'll tell you people, this is a little trivia. Our very first screenplay we wrote in 2009, Garrett typed that one.
All of it, start to finish. Loved it.
But literally, our second screenplay we wrote, Garrett had to stop, and I had to take over.
Hated it.
And since then, I'll tell you, the second script we wrote was in 2010, and then since then, any screenplay we wrote from there on out, I wrote them all. I literally typed them all. We wrote them together, but I literally
did that at the same time, bro.
Yeah, I know. We're in sync like that. It's awesome. So yes, then in 2023, late 2023, I did ask Garrett, why, Garrett, did you stop typing? And
I simply said, because I'm creating simultaneously as I'm typing, and the voices in my head that I hear what I'm putting down on paper while doing a physical task stresses me out to no end. And I felt very, very insecure about typing and listening. If I'm typing, it's going to be all my ideas. I'm not even going to bother listening to Brandon. Now, that wasn't what it was like with our first movie.
No.
But it just got so twisted in my head that the creative process itself, the ideas that I was coming with just by talking about them and expressing them, was enough to drive me insane and drain me of so much energy that I didn't have the strength to type as well, because I wasn't as confident in my ideas. You know, you come up with ideas and you know it's going to piss people off, and not because that's the goal, but because you just know you have a different point of view, and when it is a conflicting point of view, a conflict will arise.
I'll give just a very simple example. Without any malicious, let's say we write this really cool
Malicious, I like that word.
I'm sorry, malicious. I meant with
malice.
I meant malice.
Yeah.
I don't know what word I combined, but without any malice.
You combined malice and malicious.
Yes. Well, that without any malice. Let's say we came with an idea, and the idea was we create this really great lead character, and the character dies at the end. And we don't want to be mean. It has a very, let's say the feeling was very poetic, that the character wanted to die. The character feels complete dying, and the character smiles when the character dies. Fucking everybody has a problem when the lead fucking character dies, especially when they're nice.
Especially when they're loved.
So that's what I mean. No malice. But it's something Garrett and I think would be a really genuinely heartfelt, deep idea.
I think it's not heartfelt, it's just awesome.
No, but for us. For us, it's awesome.
Oh, for us, it's always heartfelt and awesome.
But yeah, it's both, see? But then the moment you just come up with something like that, people have a problem. And then when you write in the script, because there's a connection deal, for people who may not believe it, actually it's true, when you write something like a screenplay that connects to the rest of the world, yeah, you hear those fucking voices. You hear those whiny assholes throwing bullshit in your ears saying, that's a bad idea for this reason and that reason. It's so fucking annoying. They're being, now, they're being malicious. They're being assholes.
Yeah, and it ain't irrational, and it's not wrong.
It's completely true.
Art is a form of connection. It connects the energy. And when you write something, when you come up with an idea, it connects. And you connect to those who will love it and those who will hate it. Well, I listen to the voices that hated it. And it's not just voices in the head. I'm telling you this, folks, right now. I've said this in a previous video, but it's important it's in one of the long videos.
And also, it's just the context
right all now. The voices you hear in your head, the negativity and the positive ones, mostly the negative ones, they're not all you.
No.
In fact, I have found it to be mostly the accurately tapping into the voices that that the jerks would say. And the easiest way to tell whether it's them or your voice is if, let's say, because this is a real life example, I've never had a problem whatsoever with writing heroes dying at the end. I loved it, actually, every time. Never thought it was horrible watching them. Never thought it was bad. I come up with the idea and start typing it. All of a sudden, I think to myself, this is the worst style of writing ever. As a result of that, a part of me that does not exist in my mindset anywhere at all, it can only have come from an outside source of someone who hates it. And it's one thing for someone to be uncomfortable with a lead character dying. It's a whole nother thing to condemn somebody for doing that.
And that's the voices we heard.
That's the voices I heard, and why I refuse to both type and think of ideas at the same time. However, given my skill sets, I'm a better typist than Brandon.
Yes.
I'm better at editing than Brandon. By editing, we mean if there's something set and changing and switching things around midway, I'm much better at adapting than Brandon.
Yeah.
It makes more sense that I should be the typist just for the sake of practicality. But because of my insecurities, because I was sick and tired and couldn't handle, and I was listening to the goddamn voices, including the ones in my head that were me, I couldn't do it. I refused to get strong and do that. But at the end of 2023, we did have a serious talk about how can we continue writing going forward and actually have a good time doing this.
You actually have a good experience.
I think I remember we were talking about this, and I was like, if we can't find a way, Brandon, we have to stop this right now. This has to end. And I did suggest, because I had done such a poor job of our episode of 2023. I not only did you ask why I stopped typing, but I think actually I went to you and I suggested, Brandon, what if I start typing starting next year? I said, what if I take that up? And I think you said, really, Gary, you're going to go back to that? Let's be honest. Now, folks, 2010 to all the way 2023. 13 years I refused to type. 13 years I refused to hear the voices, come up with creativity, and do a physical task. Mm-hmm. 13 years I refused to do that.
Yeah. See, yeah, if Garrett came to me and asked me he should be the typist, it does basically lead to the same thing. I did eventually ask Garrett, not eventually, quickly ask Garrett why did he stop, and then that's why he told me. It was just basically too painful. It was literally too painful. And I think Garrett said to me, just blatantly said back in 2010 that, Brandon, I can't type. If you want to, if you want to write with me, you got to type. And by the way, I was never big at spelling. I didn't need to spell. I didn't need to read in my life. That's what's very funny because I'm a writer. When I'm a writer, honestly, I was perfectly content without knowing how to read or type. I was actually completely content. So the fact that I typed says how much I love this guy right here, Garrett right here, and how much I love creating. I did something I was terrified to do.
Yeah,
I was actually absolutely terrified to type. Oh my god!
But
I did, and then eventually it's now come to from 2010 to 2023. It was time for
a change
to go back to what actually truly worked. Because you see, I would say this: if Garrett had all those skills, but he just didn't like to type, then I would have gladly typed.
Yeah, if I just genuinely didn't like it.
Yes.
But I like typing.
Yeah, Garrett actually does. When our first screenplay, Garrett loved typing, and I loved to watch Garrett type. Because before, when we wrote our first script in 2009, when Garrett would type, we had a couch across from here, and Garrett would type. And as Garrett would type the script, I would see the words coming up on. So I thought it was really cool. And we don't do that anymore. Garrett usually types here on this divan we have, and I sit across there on the chair. So I don't see the script anymore, but I don't need to.
Yeah. But it was time to go back.
Yes.
And I was terrified, and at the time, what you think I would hate it? I was doing it for my brother. I did it
Actually, it was in a very calm state, because we were both in a calm state.
Because we were ready to talk and get real about this. We were like, we can stop writing our show.
Well, actually, no, we were always real, Garrett. We just got calmer.
Yeah, okay, you're right. We were always 100%, but now we are 100% without all the extra bullshit.
Without the bullshit and the angst. Garrett and I would just calm down. We could actually have a nice conversation to really talk about seriously how we want to handle this.
Where it's like, let's really just put an end to this. I said, unless we can come up with some way to make this work. I can't remember who started it first. And honestly, it doesn't really matter who brought it up.
Because we both wanted it.
And we both found the way. And I know I decided to type once again because at some time, one of the episodes we were writing in 2023, I had to take over because Brandon was so spent, and plus all the arguing and stuff. And plus,
yeah, you're right.
No, that happened.
I think you just brought that up.
I did jump back in to finish off a scene. And it flowed, and it worked, and it was a great writing day. Just because the overall stress was awful, folks, we did have plenty of great writing days.
Actually, that's the funniest part of it. We actually had, as a bit of funniness, it's like every writing day was good, just our mindsets were not there to really say it was good as a funny thing.
Yeah.
Because when I look back on the creative process on the screenplays, yeah, it went splendidly, all the writing. It was just really fucking hard on us because of our own issues and going on.
He's right. But when I recounted that, I'm like, I think I can type again. And I thought, and Bro and I always know, as far as between the two of us goes, Brandon would prefer to have me type, not because he's no good at it. He got really good at it and really fast.
Oh yeah, no, actually I'm superb at typing. Garrett's just better. I have no shame in admitting that.
And we always go through, okay, whoever's better at the certain task, let that person do it, especially if the person's okay with it.
Yes, that's the top one.
And since I had seen that I was able to type and do all the stuff that I was afraid that I couldn't do, successfully I had accomplished it. I offered the idea of Brandon kicking back, and I'm typing. And Brandon, I think you said, "Are you sure, Garrett?" Like, the sweet little bird that he is, was still going to win to take it on for me.
No. When you enacted that, Garrett's 100% right. I did say it in that exact tone because for that exact reason. I remember how much it was a nightmare in 2010. I was like, you know, Garrett, I'm tough. You're tough, and I'm tough. I can take these bullets for you if I have to because I don't want you to go through that hell again. It was miserable watching you go through that. But
paraphrasing, I was just pretty much like, you know what, it's time, Brandon. I was like, I'm ready to get back into this because you know what, I do love the show we're making. I do love the creative process. And I love more than anything to work with you. And I want to make this show the right way. And we have been doing it the right way, but now we can do it even better.
Yeah, now we can build upon the right way to make it stronger. Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
I was like, and we both know. And he did say to me at times in 2023, Garrett, you're talking too fast. Garrett, you're talking too fast. And actually, I was adjusting and slowing down my talking. But it was still never really me.
Because honestly, people, I say this, I'm very accurate. Garrett, he's a rapid thinker. He can think of so many things so much quicker, and we're both really smart. But Garrett, he can sometimes think things so quickly, and that's why even when Garrett adjusted for me, because I think now I'm talking back to 2020. I think I did tell you I want you to
slow the fuck down.
To slow down, but even then,
I did slow down,
and he did. But it was never enough. It was like basically destined to come back where Garrett had to go back. That there was nothing wrong in 2010. What was wrong was Garrett didn't believe in himself enough.
That was it.
That's
how
actually
you
the
really
key.
silence the voices. That's how you silence everybody. Just believe in your own self. And what I believed in myself was, I can do this. And more than this, I can do this for you, Brandon.
Yeah, that was also a great big motivator for Garrett. Always helping out me.
And I'm like, it's time. I can type. I'm the better typer. I also like it, and that'll make you happier because you're happy when I'm happy.
Yes, and also I'm happier because I'm in the position I like to be. I like to be the guy who sits on the chair. We talk the scene out. We act the scene out. And I like to remember as much we can about the scene because I like what we acted out.
And he has a better memory anyway. That could be why I keep thinking of new things after new thing. Brandon.
Yeah, because actually...
I have a really good memory. But Brandon has the best fucking memory ever.
Oh, but that's also a funny thing to bring up. That's also why Garrett was out of his field. When I typed, and we literally just acted the scene out, and it happened particularly with our show, and as the show went on, I was like, Garrett, what did that part? What happened there? Sometimes Garrett would forget.
Yeah.
And
Brandon doesn't forget.
And I was like, Garrett, I couldn't fucking remember. I'm fucking typing. How could I remember? So then we just tried to rethink on the fly, and it worked out every time, thankfully, because we're really good at what we do. But that's why it's better Garrett types. Because Garrett can remember what he can remember, but I can remember the gist of pretty much the whole of
Brandon can remember everything, so I don't have to.
Yeah, and only if Garrett asks, because actually that's the funniest part. As Garrett's typing, he doesn't really ask.
No, but when I still go to you, Brandon, and say, what's next, Brandon?
Yes, Garrett still does do that. And I'm
typing now.
And I'm like, now we're going when Garrett's typing. And I'm like, oh, we did that.
But so anyway, the conversation went down like
back
that.
in 2023. Back in 2023.
And establishing this new style. And we're like, we were the happiest when I was typing in 2009.
Yes, our first script.
Let's just go back to that. But with a new attitude. Understanding why we're doing this now. Saying fuck off to all the bullshit that we hear in our heads and the bullshit outside. The literal people who are full of shit. And beyond that, besides saying fuck off to everything else who goes against us and our way of following our passions and what we really love, let's just do this, Brandon. Let's finish this thing. Let's do this because we do love it.
Yes, that's the bigger one.
And when you love something, you find a way to make it work well. Not compromise. Not let's just stick it out and grit our teeth and never change. No. I decided to change it. I decided to no longer be afraid. And Brandon decided to speak up and say, you didn't, well, I know I changed right there, but because you spoke up, I think because you spoke, you did something.
No, Garrett, we actually did both. See, I'm kind of getting foggy in mine. But basically, 2023 towards the end is actually when things got a lot better, actually.
Yes.
Actually, a lot better. We'll tell you people, a little spoiler, 2024 was really swell.
2024.
We
were both prolific. And it was a wonderful experiences.
But that's a little spoiler. We'll save it for 2024.
That's
what I'm saying. So, Garrett, you got past the start of you getting past berating yourself, saying that you are a screw-up. Me, definitely in 2023. I can't remember what I did, but definitely towards the tail end of the year, Garrett might have said it to me. That might be what Garrett said to me. I just immediately embraced, okay, even if it scares me, even if it may hurt Garrett a bit, I have to speak up. Because actually, I was wrong. All the times I thought I would hurt Garrett or that I would mess something up, Garrett corrected me. Garrett said, Brandon, if you said that, I would have been fine. And then I look back on those, I'm like, shit, Garrett, you were right. And I felt really shitty. I felt really horrible knowing that. Because I felt like I felt like I could have done so much more happier things for myself and for Garrett if I just spoke up. But you know what? I just accept that that's what happened. And then from 2023, that's when I started to get better about speaking up. Speaking what was on my mind, what I felt.
Yeah, but more in real time. And Brandon is the absolute best person to deliver something that he loves, and not in a horrible way. Like, I still have a hard time conveying what I want calmly, so I usually have the moment to think about it. Brandon can just say real quickly, an example. We were out walking once, and going to a restaurant. I forgot where it was. If Brandon had walked the wrong way, I would say, Brandon, it's this way, right? So I'm a little bit antsy. Brandon, I am terrible directions. This is the real true story now. I walked the wrong way, right? And Brandon says, oh no, Garrett, it's not that way, it's this way. I'm like, oh, okay, Brandon. But that sticks in my head because it's so sweet the way he says that. It's just like he's just directing you in a very calm way and not worried, not upset that you went the wrong way. And as a creator, Brandon conveys everything he wants with that same voice. It's so funny that he was afraid to use that voice, but
that was my own issues. I'll tell you right now. Garrett did not put anything on me. I made up all my own not to speak up. I'm making that very clear.
So we both kept our promises.
Yeah.
By the end of 23.
And actually, yes, even to this present, we've gotten stronger and stronger and stronger.
I was terrified to begin typing at the start of the next year.
I was terrified to start speaking more of my mind.
But we knew that was the plan. And if we could, I think I said this. might have been 2024 when I said it, but it was definitely the end of 2023. If we can't carry it out, Brandon, then we're just done.
And I agreed.
If it feels awful, we'll just be done.
And Barry, that did scare me because I absolutely really want to make this show with Garrett. It really scared me.
By this time, we had invested 4 years in it.
But I see the things in True People.
And we loved it, too. The show was so fucking amazing, guys. You have no idea.
Yeah, you actually have no idea how much love and how incredible it is.
How awesome it is.
Just how actually fucking amazing it is.
But
True People. And I don't necessarily believe in this, the whole idea of investing 4 years or investing 40 years.
Right, that's what matters, and that's why you should just finish. No, I don't agree with that
but
I was just saying...
No, you said for a shorthand. In truth, the reason why, whether we invested 4 seconds or 4 years in it...
The love was there.
The love was there.
The love for that show is all there.
And you know, Garrett, and I didn't want to stop. Garrett didn't want to stop. But man, my gosh, 2023 people, saying right now, you know what you're hearing here. It was a fucking rough-ass year for Garrett and I.
But no matter how much we love our art, our passion, it is not worth sacrificing enjoying the company of each other.
Because truth be told, here's also
not worth it.
Because also, here's the truth. I'll tell you this right now, people. Here's the truth. If we did it right, at least in the end, at the end of a lens, I still got this guy right here.
We
can still eat together. We can still talk. We can
play games, watch movies.
We can still just live together. Just be with each other. And that's the real thing here. I love creating, but I love creating with Garrett more than just if I created anything.
Yeah, same.
So that's why we worked our butts off to really take some time to at the end towards the end of 2023 to figure out a method that was surefire to ensure that we could actually finally, after 2023 was rough and after a whole up and down with 2020, 2021, and 2022, all those years. I have
no idea about 2014.
Oh, that's another one. That's a different video. That's a whole nother thing.
We've been saying that. That's a whole nother video. 2014.
That's a whole nother monster right there, 2014.
After all of that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah. We got we have a lot to say about 2014, and a lot of tense yelling. That one, you might want to turn on your headsets if you hear this. Yeah. Oh my gosh, but
we finally
have a plan
to get to the point where we could actually achieve what we want, which is enjoying ourselves, creating our passion, as well as making our full passion, as well as having a good time with each other. We were finally at a place to achieve that because we were finally ready to actually give it up for good.
Yeah, it's that paradox.
That's how it reached that point.
It's that paradox to get the best thing you want, you have to actually be willing to absolutely accept the option to let it go forever. It's a paradox. And I know most people are very uncomfortable with that. Even when they say they're comfortable, I know they're kind of lying. No, that makes me that scares people shitless. I'm not kidding. That scares them shitless, saying, I really want this thing, but I have to embrace the scariest option as well. People don't do that.
They say it, but they don't carry through.
And I'll be honest, people, a little bit of me, I didn't want to look at the option of letting it go. I will freely admit that. But the thing is,
we had to.
And because we embraced the scariest thing possible with our beloved show, we found the solution. I speak up more, you type. But you believe in yourself.
Again, though, we found the solution, but whether or not it would have succeeded was left to question until 2024.
But yeah, so...
But we're here now, so you know it worked. But spoiler alert, it worked.
But yeah... So, that pretty much actually, for me personally, that pretty much rounds up everything I want to talk about in 2023.
No, that wraps it up for me, too. That was 2023. We found a way. We didn't know if it was really going to take, if it really was a point that we could be happy doing it, but we knew that if it worked, it was going to work.
It was just basically taking it, I'll say it in a good, short, sweet way. We were basically taking a chance on ourselves with things that made us uncomfortable.
And just being brave again.
Yeah, because we want to be brave. For us.
Not brave again. Braver than ever before.
We want to be braver than before. I want to be brave for myself, brave for Garrett. Garrett wanted to be brave for himself, brave for me. And we want to both be brave for our show. Because we love our show that much.
And that, folks,
was 2023. All right, I'm good.
Yeah, enter 2024. There's a lot of fun in 2024. A lot of good time. 2024.
We got to dial that back here because I want to save it for them because it was a treasure. I'll say it short. It was a treasure. 2024.
I love typing. Okay.
All right. See you in 2024.